Okay, guys, so now that we are done with our personal narratives, we are going to take the whole thing. Now we have completed the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. And we're going to we are going to revise and edit it using something called ratiocination. Ratiocination, it is 6 parts and it is kind of long, so we are going to be breaking it up into 3 different parts. So today I will show you how to do part 1 and 2 using your own personal narrative, and I'm going to have my example up and you're going to just follow the steps I do for mine. And then the next day you'll do steps 3 and 4, and then the following day the last steps, which is 5 and 6. Okay, so all we're doing here, we do have this class set and everyone is going to get a copy of this, so we're just going to follow the steps in order as they come. So here it says complete the following by yourself quietly, make corrections as needed, and of course if we were in class that is what we would be doing. So right now, since it's digital, it's going to be a little different. So step 1 says every narrative should have a beginning, a middle, and an end containing your theme. So we're going to use 4 colors. The first color we're using is blue, and we are going to create our introduction. We're just going to change our font color for our introduction to blue. Again, I am going to be showing you. So in my personal narrative, on mine, I'm writing about the time I caught my first butterfly. So everyone's personal narratives are going to be different. And remember, we've already gone through the introduction, we've gone through the body and the conclusion. So everyone at this point should be done. We should be where I am. So again, I am going to change my introduction to font color blue. So I'm going to highlight, I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to change the font to blue. So now that's the first part of the first step. Again, I'm going to go back. Again, use blue to color your introduction, which again is what I did here. For the second color, I'm using orange to change my font or the middle part of my story to that color. So I'm going back to my story. So remember, in the story, you have the introduction, you have your body paragraphs, and then you have your conclusion. So I'm going to change the font color sorry. Let me go back and click it. I'm going to change all of my font color in my body paragraph to orange. Again, I'm going to come here, change my font color, orange, and now you have the blue introduction, and you can see all my body paragraphs are orange. Okay. I'm going to go back to the ratiocination steps. My third color I'm using is green. And for this one, the conclusion is going to be in green. So I'm going back to my story. And I'm going to highlight my conclusion and change the font to green. Okay. So again, here's my personal narrative. I have my introduction paragraph in blue. All of my body paragraph is in orange. And then my conclusion is in the green font. Okay. I'm going back to my ratiocination steps. So the last thing I have to do for this first part, it says in red, underline and label where the theme is evident in your narrative. So we are going back, and remember, we've talked about theme before. You can always go back to the other folders in Schoology if you need a refresher, but theme is the lesson that you're learning from here, from the story. So my theme here, my theme is, let's see, the end of my story says, I realize that sometimes failure can lead to success because we learn from our mistakes. Next time I know exactly what I need to do in order to add more insects to my collection. So here I'm learning that even failure can lead to something good happening, right? It can lead to success. So that is what I'm learning. So that is the theme of my personal narrative. So once you find the theme in your personal narrative, you're clicking the theme, and then you are underlining it, and you're changing that font to the color red. So now in my conclusion, you see that the first half is green because that's my conclusion, but the theme is underlined and in red. And again, the theme is a lesson you're learning. So in my personal narrative, I'm learning that failure can lead to success, okay? That we learn from our mistakes. So now I have all 4 parts of part 1 in the ratiocination. I did my blue introduction, my orange body paragraphs, green conclusion, and I underlined the theme in red. So now we are moving to part 2 of my ratiocination steps. For here it says sentence run-ons. So it says highlight every other sentence. After doing so, make sure that you have capitalized every sentence, punctuated every sentence correctly, and if you have a large section of white or yellow, you have a run-on sentence. So that's when you have to go back and you need to fix those sentences. Okay. So once you highlight, you'll be able to see, like, maybe if there's a long space that's in white, then you know there's no punctuation, so something needs to be fixed, right? Whether it's we're adding a compound sentence or a complex sentence, or maybe we're just shortening the sentence and adding a new one. Okay, so that's where you'll go back and do that. Again, I am going to highlight every other sentence in my whole paper. So I'm going to start with the first sentence. I was in a short sleeve green shirt and green shorts. And there's a period, there's punctuation, so I'm going to go to my highlight button on the top where it says highlight color. I'm going to press yellow because that's the normal highlight color. So that's the first one. And remember, we are skipping every other sentence. So I'm skipping where it says the door slammed as I went outside. And then bang is on its own. So I'm going to highlight this because, again, it is every other sentence. So I'm highlighting this. Next, I'm skipping. So I'm skipping the part where it says that probably should have been a little quieter, I thought. Then I'm highlighting my other sentence. So I'm highlighting I smelt the breeze. It smelt like summer. Then I'm skipping, so I'm highlighting where it says the breeze blew around my long brown hair as I searched for a net. I grasped the wooden handle as I went out of the garage. So we're skipping. So then we're highlighting, it felt like an adventure was going to happen. So this part might take a while because, you have to, you're skipping every other one, you're reading as you're going, and that's where you can see, like, if your sentences are run-on sentences or if you need to correct something. So I'm skipping, I scan the fields, and then I'm highlighting like a real entomologist would do, I thought. So see how as I'm going, I'm just highlighting one sentence, skipping the next, highlighting, skipping. That's all you're doing for this second portion of the ratiocination. Highlight every other sentence. So after you're done with this, again, you're looking for capitalization of every sentence. You're looking for correct punctuation. And then just checking if you have a lot of white or yellow spaces so you can go back and correct run-on sentences. So you're doing that for the rest of your story. So since I ended this paragraph with a highlighted sentence, I'm starting this one without the highlight. So then I'll start this next one with the highlighted part. So you're doing this for the rest of your story. So at the end, your story is going to look like this. Again, you have the introduction, body, and you have the conclusion. And this is how your story will look at the end when it's all highlighted every other sentence. So again, today all you're doing is part 1 and 2 of the ratiocination. 4 colors here, highlight every other sentence, and then we'll continue to the next part, which is part 3 and 4, then 5 and 6 of the ratiocination to revise and edit your personal narrative story. See you later. Bye.